Welcome to the X-Men, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. No, this is the second installment of my podcast, Mr. Doc Coyle. I am your X-Man, and it's been a pretty crazy week. We put out the first episode with John Birkeland and gotten a pretty crazy response. The stuff in my personal social media was above and beyond anything I expected. People really took to it in a way that was, I really couldn't believe just the outpouring of support. And, not too dissimilar from some of the bigger writing pieces I've done, or as that kind of groundswell started to get going. So I'm really, I don't know, I was pretty blown away by what happened. We had some big sites pick it up. Revolver, who really hasn't covered any of the stuff I've done lately, they picked it up on their online stuff. One thing that really blew me away that I had no idea, didn't expect would happen, was that we hit up to 33 on the iTunes podcast charts for in the music category, which for a brand new show is pretty amazing. We're doing this independent. I have no sponsors. I have no networks. I have no one else really promoting this outside of myself. So that's incredible. Thank you, everyone who downloaded this, everyone who shared it. It's really kind of crazy, because I didn't really know what to expect with this, and hopefully it'll just keep getting better and keep moving forward. I will say, if you do want to help the show, please go on iTunes, leave a comment, rate it, spread it around, tell your friends. This is definitely something, the more engagement I get from you guys on that level, definitely the more notoriety the show will get, the better the guests will get, the more I can do this and invest in this, because it's something I really believe in and enjoy. On that note, I would like to segue into a different part of the show. I'm going to be doing some experimenting, playing with the format, but I look at this as a creative venture and a way to spread, or maybe not spread, but share. That's a better way to put it. A way to share kind of my philosophy on the world with people. All art is a form of communication. And I want to kind of share a theme, and perhaps each week I will pick a theme and just talk about things, give maybe a 5-minute little mini verbal blog about some things that maybe won't fit in an article. And there's something that's been on my mind, and it's about the idea of holding grudges, and about the idea of exerting negative energy towards people in a way that takes effort. And this is something that really, really bothers me. The idea of seeking revenge or vengeance. We have a presidential election going on right now that will hopefully be resolved within the next week or so. And one of the guys who's running, Mr. Donald Trump, I'm sure you guys know him, and I'm definitely not here to tell people who to vote for or to say who's right or wrong, left to right, any of that stuff. Maybe I will, but not right now. But he had a quote in this speech that he gave that was telling to me. And, quote, "Get even with people. If they screw you, screw them back 10 times as hard. I really believe it." End quote. And me telling that, it's not to really have a conversation about Donald Trump, but it has to do with the idea of how we, day to day, how we spend our time and our energy. And I'm definitely of the mind that if someone does me wrong, so to speak, I don't sit around thinking about ways to get them back. There's a prominent musician that probably almost everyone that's listening to this has at least heard of. And I'm not going to name their name. I'm not going to out them. but this person doesn't like me because of someone else I'm friends with. I have no problem with them, but they don't like me because they don't like someone else I'm friends with. And the first day I moved to Los Angeles, I went to say hello to this person who previously we were okay with. And this person ignored me, and essentially ignored me every single time I ran into them at a show or out somewhere at a party. And it really, really hurt my feelings in a way, because when you feel no ill will towards someone and yet they feel that way towards you and feel that it's in their interest to exert that, it can be devastating, I think, when you're the type of person that doesn't want to engage the world that way. The thing is, when I have a problem with someone, either if the problem is me with them or vice versa, I want resolution to that problem. I want to figure out what our differences are and tie those loose ends together. This type of drama-filled, I don't want to call it hate. Maybe in a sense it's a form of amplified indifference, but it's not helpful, especially when we're all involved in the same industry. We all love music. We love heavy metal, heavy music, what it's done for us. And to me, what sets this little subculture apart is the community, is that we're, for the most part, pretty much all friends. And with that, I say, instead of holding grudges and thinking about revenge, we should become resolution oriented. Holding those things just deteriorates the best of our potential. And this person who doesn't like me, anytime you want to bury the hatchet, I'm all on board. And I definitely will not. I will not hold any grudges moving forward. And to move on to the guest portion of the X-Man, and in a more positive and lighter note, someone I'm sure no one has grudges for, Mr. Angel Vivaldi, the incredible guitar player and good friend I've known for many years, at least 10 years at this point. I'm so proud of this guy, everything he's done, and it was really gracious of him to come on the show, and he's just amazing. And if you don't know, you should definitely check his stuff out. He's a solo guitar player. He just got off tour with Gus G, and yeah, check out our conversation. Say something.
Testing 1 2 1 2 levels.
All right, good. I'm gonna give you a little more.
Give me some
juice.
reverb.
No, there's no reverb. All right. Was that WNYW? There's that one station in Jersey that plays. There's like reverb on everything.
Talk radio. It's a 105.1, I think.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're in the hallway that's never ending.
Who the fuck's idea was? That shit is strange.
No, it's shot, man.
All right, so see, I noticed this tick. I do this thing. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what the hell. I don't do that in real life, but when I'm on the mic, I do it.
That's your anxiety tick, man.
I don't know what it is, but thank God for editing. I can edit it out, and I can sound articulate.
Gotta enunciate, boo.
It helps. I'm trying. Listen, I'm in the broadcasting game now, brother.
Oh, that's it, man. You gotta step your game up. Come on.
That's right. Trying to get my radio voice. Hello,
greetings.
Okay, but seriously, this is the X-Man podcast. I have welcome my old friend Angel Vivaldi.
Glad to be here, man.
Fellow guitar player, fellow New Jerseyan, fellow like off-white,
sort of brown.
It's kind of brown, right? Like racially ambiguous dude. We got to stick together.
That's what's up.
To confuse people. So I told you a little bit about what the show is about.
Mm-hmm.
The X-Men, people who did some shit, and now you're doing some other shit.
Right.
So I think it's really important for me to bring up how I first became aware of you, and that was, I think you were playing, was it Connections? Oh no, maybe I think it was just Dingbats. It was one of the great rock and roll venues of Clifton, New Jersey, in the mid 2000s. So for people who don't know, Blackmarket Hero was the kind of posthumous band for a very popular nu metal band from Jersey called 40 Below Summer. And I remember it was like, yo man, the dudes from 40 Below got this new band and they got this guitar, this dude, man, it was like, virtuoso. And I remember seeing you, and the thing I loved about you was not only that you were shredding and doing some crazy stuff, but you, right out of the gate, you had like a flair for performance and a flair for like, just you already stood out in a band with people who were supposed to be.
Band with Max Illich.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's a character right there, man.
There you go. Well, I'm just saying that definitely. So that was my first introduction. So how did you end up getting involved with that band?
Well, 40. So essentially, it was the guys with 40 Below, and then 2 members from Flaw.
Oh, I didn't realize it was Flaw guys.
Yeah. So Micah was a drummer for Flaw, and so was Ryan, who I actually wound up replacing. And someone told me that they were auditioning guitarists, and at that point I had already released my debut album, which I did by myself back in 2008.
So it's still like instrumental.
Yeah, all instrumental. And this back in the MySpace days, I hit them up, and apparently they were doing submissions for some other guys, but they couldn't get the video content or whatever submissions together.
How old were you at this time?
Man, I was 2008, probably early 20s, like 20, 21
So
maybe.
you were significantly younger than the other guys.
Yeah. Those guys were, I think, at that point, like around early, mid-30s. And they took a look at my MySpace page. They saw that I can play a little bit, and they were like, come in for an audition.
MySpace.
MySpace.
That's so cute.
So yesterday. And we went into that room, man, and it was just magic. We had great chemistry, and showed them a few of my riffs, a few songs that I was working on for my solo stuff. And, we instantly hit it off, and that was that.
So how long did that last, and how did it come to an end?
I was with them for about 2 years, maybe a little bit over 2 years. We did one demo. We were always working on that full album that everyone always talked about. Everyone like, hey, what's going on, with Blackmarket? Yeah, we're still working on that album.
What happened? What happened, bro?
Man, I was 20 and I was hungry, man. I had that fire. It's like, it just wanted to make moves. And unfortunately, the other guys, like, they had houses and families and, and it just, it was just kind of holding me back from what I really wanted to do, but I'm still really cool with all those guys, and they understood,
So you left while it was still like an active thing?
I mean, it was kind of dying down.
Okay.
I mean, it was pretty evident. And I didn't want to waste my time. I had some other opportunities and stuff like that I wanted to explore, so.
Okay, so that ends, and like I said, this is the X-Men, baby. We talking about when shit is over.
Done.
So you're done with that.
Yeah.
And is at that point that you decide, all right, I'm going to focus on being more of a solo artist and focus on instrumental music?
Yeah, the interesting thing was I always had a feeling in my gut that it wasn't.
By the way, guys, he's pointing at his gut.
I'm pointing at my gut because I'm Spanish and Italian. We talk with our hands. I'm hoping that they could feel this magic that I'm doing with my hands.
We need some type of audio way to convey the Jersey talking. All right, listen.
That's it, man. But yeah, I always kept my solo project active. Even when I was with Blackmarket, I recorded a demo with Max and Micah, who have been producing Blackmarket Hero stuff. And when I did that, my solo career started taking off. So I always felt a little bit secure with that, because that's the one thing I feel like I can easily maintain. I don't have to really count or depend on anyone to do something. I could just do everything myself. So when that blew up, when Blackmarket Hero, I left and they didn't want to disbanding afterward, I just focused 100% on that. And thankfully I did.
So this was around like 2010?
2009 I released that second EP. Yeah.
The second EP. So you got this EP, and how are you making a living at this point besides music, or is music even weighing in? Or are you just doing it for fun at this point?
No, I mean this is it. This is my main stream of income.
No. I know now. I'm talking about in 2009.
Oh man, I was working full time.
Where were you working?
I was working. I was living in Brooklyn at the time. I used to do billing and collections for a maid service.
Billing and collections. Like,
Yes.
does that sound like? Because I'm picturing you rolling up on people like, yo, man, where's the money, man?
That was me. They got a guy from Jersey to, harass people for like not paying their bills.
All right, so you're doing that. Are you at this time? Are you teaching as well?
No, I didn't start teaching. I didn't feel like I had the capacity or the knowledge really, or maybe the confidence to really teach. Because I'm self-taught. When I was growing up, it wasn't no lessons, no support either. They were like, stop playing the guitar kind of thing all the time. But for me, I mean, it was just like, sticking with a full-time job. I mean, and that was really important. And I tell people this all the time, make sure you have a really awesome full-time job. Make sure that, you bust your ass at it so that you can invest back into yourself. And that's exactly what I did.
So you're definitely a proponent of, I mean, should we call it the backup plan, or is that not a bad way to put it? Or is it more like a subsidizer?
I mean, I would say more like a subsidizer, only because, in this day and age, like the game has changed so many times. Every 2 years is different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you get married to a certain way, boo-boo, you're going to be in for a rough divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, you better get yourself a good lawyer. But and I always, and I really busted my ass at those full-time jobs, and everyone loved the work that I did. So that gave me more leniency to go out and, take a long vacation and do a tour or to do a record or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So we're tracking along. So you're working, you put out your second EP, and now from what I remember around that time, you would do lots of local gigs. So I'd see you do a show in New York, or I'd see you do a show in Jersey, but it was still pretty, I guess, humble type of thing. It's still, I think people would regard you as like a local type of artist.
Yeah.
When, like, I feel like something happened. I remember you posted a video, or maybe it was just a post, where you basically said, all right, I'm quitting my job and I'm making the move to becoming a full-time musician. Yeah. And so when was that, and what kind of led up to that decision?
Well, I very much lived by the analogy of, I want to be close enough to the fire to get warm, but not to get burned. So I never wanted to tour. I never wanted to do music full time, to be honest. Because, the other thing, you don't want to develop a neuroses where it's like, all right, now I'm obligated to do this, and my well-being is dependent on making music. Yeah. And I don't want to be in a situation where I hate making music.
You come to, what's the word I'm looking for? So we're going to edit this out. You know what I'm talking about? Slice. Where you come to resent the music industry, and a lot of people get bitter because things go wrong, a record deal goes bad, they have a bad tour, they lose a bunch of money on whatever musical endeavor. So I hear that.
Yeah, so I was really apprehensive for that reason. I mean, to be completely honest, well, when I made the jump was in 2014. No, sorry. About a year and a half ago from today, so maybe like something.
That was only a year and a half ago. Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. That feels like that was a while before that.
No, it's coming up to 2 years because the thing that made me jump was my best friend passed away from ALS. So, and he was 35. His name is Rich, and when he passed, I've had a lot of opportunities to do it full time. I probably could have done it full time back in like 2013, but again, it's that staying near the fire to get warm, not to get burned, and for the other reason I had mentioned. But, so for me, it really woke me up just hearing the thoughts of a dying 35-year-old man. Mm-hmm.
And what was that? What did he tell
just
you?
All the things that he wanted to do. All the opportunities he had. And here I am getting tour offers and label offers. And I'm just like, no. Which I'm kind of thankful for, because it definitely paced my career in a certain way so that when I finally did tour, the first tour I ever went on, full U.S. tour, I headlined myself. I think no support acts, no nothing.
When was that?
This was exactly 1 year ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And, selling out shows left and right, killing it in merch, running out of merch 2 or 3 times, because people were just really anxious to see me because I've been holding back since, I started this in 2004, 2005, so building an online career for that long and then touring so many years later, people were just like, finally,
Which is actually, what? I think that's really interesting because I'm, me working with some of my newer bands and going through the kind of process of like shopping to labels. Mm-hmm. And the main thing you hear from the labels is, well, when are you going to tour? Can you tour? Mm-hmm. What's going on with this? They want that immediate, like, here's the album, then here's the touring action. Mm-hmm. And the way I've kind of gone against that in the way I think lately, because I know how that can destroy bands early when they go out before they're ready. Absolutely. Financially, and mm-hmm. they kind of dive head first. And if that first year doesn't go well, and they're, and after a year they're still making $100 a night, yeah. and they're still sleeping on floors, they're like, fuck this, I'm gonna go home. This is not a quality life.
Absolutely.
And I think your approach in a way is kind of evidence that you can do things a different way.
Absolutely.
Which is to wait until there's a demand, build the demand, mm-hmm. and then enter the marketplace that way.
Not only that, it sets you up for a much more enjoyable experience because it's so rewarding seeing people like literally in tears after your set saying, "Oh my God, thank you for coming out and touring finally." It really just changed my life. And so after that tour, I wanted to lay low, but of course 120 shows later, with this tour, it's just something that, I absolutely love. I mean, don't get me wrong, man, it's hard. I mean, especially doing a DIY, like you're talking about a tremendous amount of money investing. It's just like an album cycle. It's no different.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, the DIY thing. What is your philosophy behind being an independent artist? Like what is it? What do you think is about you that has put you on that path as opposed to trying to do something more traditional or get, let me get a label, let me get a manager, mm-hmm. yada, yada, yada?
I think the most important thing is just being very honest with yourself, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses are. Always putting the songs and the product before your ego. That's the most important thing, really. Especially when you're doing a solo thing, it's like we all have one, it's a matter of being very aware of it and knowing how to keep it in check. Because at the end of the day, again, it's the songs that matter. And that's what success is, honestly. It's just, you can market it as much as you want, but you can't bad songs, or it's just it's not a song that's going to relate to people. So I think that, for me, I love the business end of it, and first and foremost, as it is being a prominent songwriter, but I love just learning about new tactics, new different ways to connect with people, being more intimate with my audience, responding to them, making sure that they know that I'm seeing their comments and their messages and whatever. But honestly, you can't get attached to a certain way to do things, That's the most important thing. You have to be very adaptable because the music industry is changing, and we're going to see a lot more changes within the next 5 years, next 2 years.
And are you like preparing for that? Are you thinking absolutely. Of the next thing of what's kind of, in your opinion, what's kind of happening right now that you think is going to phase out soon?
iTunes is going to go away.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be streaming. Apple Music's going to be the primary platform.
You think that'll be bigger than Spotify?
I think so, out of convenience.
I like Spotify's, as a streaming service. Mm-hmm. I tried Apple Music, and I like Spotify's system better. Absolutely.
Well, you know what's interesting about that is I was a big Pandora listener. For years, that was my go-to streaming service. I never understood Spotify. Spotify was always very too much of an intimidating galaxy.
But Pandora, can you do a la carte? Can you just pick up a song and it'll play it? It's all random, right?
Yeah.
It's like radio.
Yeah. It's a good way to discover new artists, and I've had a lot of success on there myself. So when people are like, "Oh, I heard you on Pandora," I'm like, you know what? Let me see what Pandora's about.
Now, is there a way to see if people are discovering you, mm-hmm. what would they put in? So if they put in like periphery or something, will like an Angel Vivaldi song come up on there maybe?
Dude, I've come up on Metallica radio.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing on
Dude,
like, all their mains. And
have you
like
done
that.
anything to promote that, or did that kind of happen all on its own?
No, it's their own algorithm. It pretty much is based, from what I understand, on people who, like certain things, and it creates more branches of this algorithm. So like, hey, if you like this, you might like this kind of thing. Whereas Spotify, I just started listening to for the past 5 months, and it literally changed the way I listen to it. Discovering new music. And now that's my main, so as a listener now, I fully understand the appeal of Spotify and platforms like that.
So you mentioned before that you were getting offers. So you said you had label offers on the coming at you?
Yeah, I had a few. Especially there was another band I was in, Vext.
Yes.
In 2012.
Which we didn't get to.
Yeah,
I was gonna talk about it, but we kind of started because he's also an ex-man of Vext as well. He was doing
Vext man.
Yeah. And so Vext, featuring our good friend Tommy Vext and our buddy AJ, who was in Mutiny Within, and then Bill.
Yep.
Right? Bill Fury from Mutiny Within also plays for you, which was I would describe as more almost like a bunch of metal guys almost doing something a little more on the commercial side of things.
Yeah.
And for you, was that the last kind of more band unit, like more normal songs that you've been involved in?
Yeah, that was it. And that was in 2012, 2013, I think that's when that happened.
And what happened? Because I know, so there were some people looking at you guys?
Yeah, there was a lot of people looking at us, man.
So what happened?
I mean, I think that...
Didn't AJ quit?
AJ had quit first. And then we had another bassist, and we were still playing shows. And then, at that point, like, my solo career was already taken off. And I kind of hit a really bad depression at that point, trying to write my next solo record.
Depression around what?
I just couldn't write, man.
Oh, just like a writer's block.
Yeah, but it snowballed into such a more darker thing, because like, the thing is, I mean, the important thing, I guess, when you're a musician and you have any bit of success is you immediately identify yourself by that one thing, like I am a songwriter, I am a guitarist, and when you can't songwrite and you're not a guitarist, you ponder those deep questions like, what am I? Who am I? What is my purpose here? It's definitely a lot of like judging myself and just being a complete dick to myself when it comes right down to it. But it wasn't until like I got into meditation and I really softened to the experience that, no, I'm not just that.
Do you do TM? Transcendental meditation?
No. I mean, I'm a practicing Buddhist.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. So I practice Zen meditation. I've been on a few retreats, which really helped. It just transformed my life completely. And for me, it was more a matter of like, well, no, that's just one part of my life. Music isn't my life, because I feel like if you define yourself by one thing, you're cheapening the privilege of like being alive.
Yeah.
Life is so much more than just playing guitar or writing songs. You have friends and family and, ways to connect. So when I opened to that, that's when I was able to really, write and be more free and liberated. So talking about free and liberation. So when I finally finished that record,
which record this is?
Away with Words.
Okay.
My solo record, the latest one that came out. And then, and then like, I think that the dynamic, like Bill's very chill, very laid back, the drummer, he'll go with anything, whereas Tommy and I, we're both frontmen, you know. But I know my role in a band, I don't fight that at all. But I feel like there was definitely some certain, I guess, tactics that I just didn't really understand, I guess.
Okay.
And then once my solo stuff started taking off even more, I was like, guys, I really can't do both. And now I really have to focus on this album cycle, because again, it's a financial investment, it's an emotional investment, and I really wanted to see it through. So I decided to go that route and focus again on my solo stuff.
Right on. You always go back.
Always go back, baby.
But it's clearly it's paying off. So the label thing. So has the Angel Vivaldi solo artist been offered label deals?
There was negotiations, but I've never had it like there was one last year, and I sat on it for quite a while.
Is it can we name names, or is that
I'm not going to name names? No, I'm not
Okay.
going to name names. But I sat on it for a while, a lot of back and forth, and honestly, it was a very good deal. It was made in 2015, just last year.
So why not? Is it all right? I hope I'm not answering the question for you.
Yeah.
But is it being someone who is in control of every element, and you get all your revenue, you get to make all your decisions, and all of a sudden kind of taking the grip off that steering wheel. Is that the hesitation?
You know what? The interesting thing was it was more of the personalities behind this particular label.
Interesting.
Yeah, they gave me everything I wanted, man. That was a 2005 deal. It wasn't even a 360 deal. They were going to give me every self-release. They didn't want any part of it. They didn't want any money from it. They were like, we're going to give you complete control. It's clearly you're doing something and you're doing it right. So we're going to let you do this. We're just going to give you a lot of money and da-da-da-da-da. But I just had, again, I'm pointing to my gut.
Yeah.
It's just, I just didn't feel right.
Yeah, because of some personality issues and kind of vibe. Just the vibe.
I just didn't feel like one of the people behind this label didn't have my best interests at heart. And then, lo and behold, during my last tour, I came to realize that, and thank God I didn't sign it.
Yeah, but to me, I'm just saying this: if labels aren't offering you a deal, and they're not following the talent, and they're not following, because not only do you have talent, you have exposure, you have videos and content that has millions of views. You're on tour with one of the most famous guitar players in the world, co-headlining, not even just like you're opening up. I don't know your record sales numbers or anything like that. You'd have a better idea, but I feel like there must be something wrong with this system if they're not saying, hey, let's go where the talent is. These people, like, you have all the elements of an act that should have a record deal. I'm like, then who the fuck are they offering record deals to?
Right.
Like, I'm baffled.
The thing is, so there was one record label I met with, not naming names again, but they literally told me, they're like, you know what, we're not even going to offer you a deal, because there's nothing that we can do for you that you're not doing for yourself already. And it blew my fucking hair back, but it's kind of true. The interesting thing about it is, like, artists are really taking the power back, but the flip side, the other counterpart to that artists aren't understanding is that, yeah, we're taking the power back, but we need each other, and there's way too many fucking people, man, focus on being good guitar players and good drummers or whatever, but they don't know how to be a musician, So instead of like banding together, they're just forming their own little cliques, So here's the YouTube guys clique, and here's the fucking gent clique, and here's these, and and people don't know where to categorize my ass because I'm over here with the YouTube views, and I
was gonna ask you about that because I felt like your ascension into notoriety happened kind of at the same time that the gent scene and internet musician 7string.org
Intergent
yes arose, but your music, in my opinion, doesn't sound like that.
Right.
It's a different vibe, or at least it and I'm sure I don't know, I almost feel like if it was anyone else but you, they would have just shoehorned gent sounds into it just to like try and fit in, but you didn't do that. But yet a lot of those fans still embrace what you do, which I think is really cool. Do you feel like a kinship with that community at all, or do you feel separate from it still?
I definitely feel a kinship with it. It definitely, a lot of my demographic does really enjoy that music, which is great. It's wonderful. But the most important thing, and I say this to anyone who's asking for advice, is like, don't follow trends. Don't go balls deep in trends, because if your intention, well, first figure out what your intention is, because if you want longevity in this industry, following a trend is going to give you 5-10 years. But then at the same time, when you follow a trend, you're sharing your fan base with 500 other bands who are doing the same thing. What's going to make them buy your record and not theirs? Yeah. So when you think about this, it's like, all right, well, that's more reason for me to do exactly what I want. And that's the thing. It's like, the term prog to me, or progressive metal or progressive music in general, is just tapping into any genre in the world and being able to do it well, So I have, March and Winter, which is super genty. Then I have other songs which are pretty thrashy. I have songs that are just straight up ballads, and I have my For the Love of Gods,
Oh yeah.
And yes, baby. But yeah, so I think that's the most important thing, just to have artistic integrity. Because look at Meshuggah, I have a tremendous amount of respect for those guys. Their music doesn't particularly move me. There's always something I can relate to, and that's cool. But they stuck to the guns all these years, and now they're literally the kings of this, this whole movement of progressive metal, and they're at the top of their game,
Yeah, they just keep growing in popularity.
And it's insane. It's absolutely insane, and it's just amazing to see that. But they're doing what
and
they
keep
want to do.
getting heavier. Like,
yeah, how the hell? Like.
Well, every time they come out, I look at their tour schedules. They're playing bigger and bigger venues. Now they're up to like the 2,500 capacity venues, and it's insane. They become this mini industry in and of themselves. Which, listen, I could praise Meshuggah all day. We're not gonna do that. We have bigger fish to fry. That's just stating the obvious. Water is wet. The sky is blue. So speaking of the Martian Winter video, and that kind of ties into like two questions. How did, because that seemed to be the thing that kind of broke out for you. That was the first thing where it's like I said, it's such an odd transition. Where back in the day, when I was first touring, it was you hit the road. That's how you build a fan base, because that was before even MySpace was a big deal. All these tools, it was either you were on the radio or MTV or you hit the road.
Right.
But you somehow, like I said, it all of a sudden it became real. It became legitimate. I want to know, how did you get that video made? Because it's a great video. Like it's super professional, and I think that helped in its success. And how did it get spread around?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting, the first video that I dropped was for Mercurian Summer, which is another single off that same album or that same EP.
So did I have them flipped around about which one hit first?
Yeah, so it was a summer one, then it was a winter one. But they weren't that far apart.
I knew it was a season though. Okay? Get mad at me. Shit. Get me another beverage. Hold on. But it's not beer. It's raspberry.
It's Dasani.
Raspberry lemonade flavored sparkling water.
He thinks he's a bougie bitch, guys.
That's right. Listen, I'm watching my weight. Do not body shame me, sir. Okay, it's delicious. And
drink up, boo boo. Drink up. He's drooling, guys.
That's right. It's delicious. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut. So this was Mercurial Summer.
Mercurian Summer, yeah.
I apologize.
And then he got the name wrong too. Look at that.
You know what's funny is that, like, I'm sure if there's any of your fans listen to this, they're like, "Really, dude? Really, bro?
Like, get with
you don't even know the right video, man.
Get with it."
God.
But no, so that was the first one that dropped, and it was like a pretty modest video. I mean, it's still pro shot and stuff like that, but.
So are you paying that all out of pocket?
Yeah.
Everything. Are we talking in the thousands and thousands of dollars, or are you getting the bro deal?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. So Mercurian Summer was the first video that started the ball rolling. And I was making some good money off of it. I was like, all right,
What do you mean you make it like from YouTube views?
No, just selling on iTunes. Just selling.
Selling a video. People would buy.
No, the single.
Oh, the song. I'm sorry. There we go.
And then from there, I was like, all right, got to do a second video. That's where Martian Winter came out. And yeah, that video was very painful to do.
It was really cold. That's not fake. That's not like that. Like in the movies now, when it's cold, they'll like put CGI.
They wanted to do that.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to do. And I was like, no, because my whole big thing is with videos, like, I don't want to date my videos. Yeah. You'll never see an ex-Vext in any of my videos because for that very
you don't
reason.
use that. You use the Lord for your guitar sound, right?
Oh, duh. I'm his angel. He has to take care of me. But yeah, so like with that, they wanted to CGI it, and again, I felt like in a few years it's going to be dated. So I was like, no, let's get into a 5-degree freezer and kill ourselves. So
how long was the shoot?
It was 8 hours. And you want to talk about terrifying. So, I pay this, production team. And it was a little bit of a labor of love too, because I did get a bit of a bro deal, but it was still incredibly, incredibly expensive.
It looks great though.
Oh, thank you, man. So we got in there. We had all of our gear in there. And I was the first one to, we got special effects makeup, first one to go in there, and I'm shaking uncontrollably. And then my heart falls into my eyes because I'm like, I've been shaking for like 10 minutes now, and I can't stop shaking. I can't do a take. And then I go to the director, Tony, and I'm like, Tony, I don't know if this is a realistic thing. I think we may have to like reschedule this entire shoot. And he's like, Angel, man, just stay with it for like another 10 minutes. If you feel you can't do it, we won't do it. But just give it another 10 minutes. And by the grace of God, your body had just adapted. Mind you, we're only wearing like long sleeve thermals. That is it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is bundled up head to toe. It's fucking freezing in there. So we shot, and then every time, we did singles.
Did you consult with like a doctor to find out if you like can actually be exposed to that?
No, I probably should have. I think that if I stood there for another hour longer, we wouldn't have needed a special effects makeup because it hurt. It really hurt. And then to try to, of course, there's like back and chest, trying to move your fingers it was painful. Then the other thing is, so like with the smoke, you have to have a lot of humidity. And with the humidity, the gaff tape wasn't sticking to the cymbals for the, playback. So my drummer, like he was just washing out the backing track. So my amazing guitarist plugged in his amp and he played it to a click, and he actually fucking played it. I don't know how he was, because the riffs are those are nasty riffs, man. Those are hard. Those are no joke.
Yeah.
And he was able to play just so we can hear it. I thought my amp was going to explode, because you're thinking about it, like put your PV in, or whatever amp, like in the freezer. And
no,
turn it on.
I had an amplifier. So this was back like 99 or 98. We played this roller rink or some crazy venue in Asbury Park, and my amp had been in the trailer all night, and I guess it was freezing outside, and it just stayed there, and I turned it on, and boom, and I guess the tubes had frozen, and I didn't give it time to warm up, so you can definitely fuck your stuff up.
Luckily, we didn't have the amps in there too long. It was just really quick in and out. But yeah, man, we had, it's just a matter of just got to truck through it, and luckily, we did, because the video, did really well and everyone was really receptive to it. But that was the one thing, it definitely turned my career to a completely different.
So, but how do you take something, like, how are you exposing it? Was it all natural, like a friend telling a friend telling a friend?
Old school, word of mouth. Like, I didn't put any ads into it. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was just his own thing. And, thanks to my fans, man. They just made it
but
happen.
but I think that's what we're all, like, what I kind of, when people talk about going back to like the God forbid days, and what a lot of people are like, man, you guys should have been XYZ. And I'm like, ain't no such thing as should, like, either people connect to it or they don't. And there's very few bands that could have had as much exposure as we did. We got in front of everybody. So, and we had our certain amount of success, and it was great. But I love that idea of things picking up their own natural steam. And like I said, a friend telling a friend, another guy playing it for this guy, and all of a sudden it develops its own natural energy. And that's real fandom. That's, because there's one thing where you can go and like, oh, we're going to get the street team to go hand out flyers, and we're going to do all this kind of manufactured excitement. We're like, there's a big difference between hype and buzz.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because one is real and one is manufactured. And I love seeing that, because it's, especially, I think in many ways, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with this, is that you also kind of benefited from just timing, whereas like it seemed like 15 years instrumental shred guitar type stuff was not really in the atmosphere.
It wasn't happening, no.
And then all of a sudden it became something where not only you can make a living, but it was big. Bands like Animals as Leaders, like that band plays theaters and sells them out, and it's like, whoa, that didn't exist when we were coming up.
Correct.
Unless you were Steve Vai or Joe Satriani or Yngwie.
And then think about how crazy Animals as Leaders is. Their music is not really accessible. They're doing some crazy stuff.
I disagree. I think it's, their music is, I think listening to it, like your music actually sounds crazier.
Yeah.
Like it sounds more, like there's more crazy stuff. I think because of the way Tosin plays, it's like almost like their stuff is almost more like atmospheric.
Yeah, they definitely. I'm talking more like standard song structure, hooks.
Yeah,
they play with that a lot.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if it's not, a coincidence that a band like that or a band like yours became popular almost at the same time that EDM became popular, where it's instrumental music that is not obviously driven by vocals and doesn't follow like a normal format, but it's really about people kind of just, in a way, you listen to that music differently. The way it kind of affects your brain and the kind of mood it puts you in, and almost like the culture was ready.
Yeah,
for that.
I mean, I grew up on dance music, man. I'm from Jersey. You know, I'm Spanish. I'm from Jersey, baby. That was what freestyle, Judy Torres, what?
Up in the club.
You know, so I mean, you know, I have a very great, huge love for like, you know, any type of electronic dance music. You know, present day or back in the day. You know, and that's one thing I did a collaboration with Marcus Schultz. His management hit me up. Maybe what was it? Like sometime in June, they were like, hey, you know, he just dropped the record. You know, we saw that you did this very Corsten song back a few years ago. Would you be down to do a cover of one of his songs? I'm like,
I don't know who any of these people are.
Oh
Are
my
these
God,
dance people?
Yeah, Marcus Schultz. He's like Tiesto kind of.
Oh, okay.
You know.
See, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning what videos came out when. Marcus Schultz, my man. Doons, 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 boom, doon, doon. I love it.
This guy needs an octane rating, guys.
What's that?
You need an octane rating. It's good.
All right. All right. So speaking of dancing, a lot of people, not everyone knows, are you the most prominently openly gay heavy metal musician? Are you the guy? You hold it down?
I'm not the most prominent. Definitely not.
Who's the most prominent? Who's got the title?
Probably Halford.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I want to know what's in that Dasani.
I'm like, I don't know who he is. He's there with Marcus Schultz. Who are these people?
Oh no,
I forgot about Halford.
Yeah, Halford.
I don't know, but he doesn't. Does he go to the club?
I don't know.
You know, he doesn't have a cool hairstyle like you.
No, he doesn't.
You know,
unfortunately, no.
I'm saying, so, like, all right. So instead of I think about this because I will always get asked. What question do you think I always get asked?
Are you black or Spanish?
Kind of, but it's like, what's it like being black in heavy metal, right? And that's Is this the do you get that constantly? Are you annoyed at that, or is it?
No, you know what? I people are very receptive to it. I mean, there was sometime last year, and that's the thing. I don't want to make it a big thing, you know, like so. Last year,
I heard it's really big.
It's massive. It's like a kickstand. Are you kidding me? Shit. People need a duck when I turn around.
All right, guys, I gotta go.
But yeah, so like so last year, the U-Rock Foundation, they had this this whole thing where for World Suicide Prevention Day, where you hold up a sign that says "I matter because," and then you.
I think I saw something you posted with that.
Yeah, and it was the first time, and this was like I think last year. That's the first time I was like, "Hey, I'm gay." You know, if people asked me, I would tell them. But I think I said I matter because I'm openly gay in the metal scene, and I think honestly it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. Not for myself.
I thought it was just known.
People.
Like I thought, like I don't know. I guess maybe because I'm from New Jersey, and we're all from the
everyone
same
knows.
area that was just known. But I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean at that point, you know. Because I had, like, at that point, like, you know, my career was, like, you know, it was taking off and, you know, I was doing my thing already, being established. But so when I posted that, you know, it came to a shock as, you know, to a lot of people. I mean, whatever.
Like, bad people kind of... Because, I mean, think about metal in many ways is kind of this... like, stereotypically masculine...
aggressive, just alpha male type of...
Which is, it's actually kind of hilarious because if you look at the 80s where everyone they kind of look like girls, but they're banging a lot of girls.
That was like the transgendered era. Like it's not now. It was back then.
There's just a lot of like the Accept Balls to the Wall video kind of gay.
I mean, look at the title. Balls to the Wall.
Yeah, but you have a bunch of dudes bent over on a wall. Why? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I'm just saying there was some stuff going on.
Very pseudo.
Yeah, there was just a lot of ins, a lot of outs.
And a lot more ins and outs and ins and outs.
Yeah, it was a repetitive motion that made people happy.
That made many people happy. And still makes people happy to this day.
So do you have a lot of kids reaching out to you, like young people?
So yeah, when I made that post, you know, it really just blew up. I mean, it was just shared all over the fucking internet and it did a lot of good because I got a lot of messages from people who actually decided to come out.
Yeah.
who came out like at the day after they would message
And
me.
is this people who are part of
Just
the heavy metal
fans,
community,
yeah,
or just
fans of mine, who listen to, a lot of metal and stuff. And I'm just like, holy fucking shit. Like, I just made this post just to, and I mean, it was a lengthy post too. I talked about, my experiences being, gay and, yeah, of course you're definitely going to get some hate and you're going to get some, fucking ignorant people. But it's just like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's ignorance. And I don't say that with stupidity. It's just lack of awareness. They were brought up
you have to educate people.
Right.
I'm of the mind, and considering my perspective, a lot of times I'm drawn upon to maybe comment about race or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I always say I actually have a fair amount of sympathy for people who are not lucky enough to be taught the better way of thinking.
Yeah.
And they're disadvantaged.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so if you have someone who maybe has an ignorant point of view, and whether it's bigoted in any way because they didn't know any better,
right?
You have to like try and help them, and you can't be like, you're an asshole, you're racist. It's like that only makes them hate worse. Is when you come at them
fire with fire, but there was a lot of people I remember in the comments that were just like, you know what, honestly, like I had no idea. It's not something that like it flipped people.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It has nothing to do.
It's the most hard. It's like irrelevant, completely irrelevant. But you know what? The good thing about, because there's still a lot of progress that humanity needs to make overall. And if I can help that even 0.0001% with the fucking post, and just to be honest with people and myself, then fuck it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about you in general is that to me, you're almost like part musician, part performer, but you're also almost like a vlogger. Like I see some of your videos, and it might as well, some of these people who are famous on YouTube just for doing videos, like you have a charisma to you and an ability to speak to people.
It's the hair, man.
Well, listen. You've got it all down, all right? You son of a bitch, come over here.
Bitch, you invited me.
All coiffed.
Coiffed or queefed?
There ain't no queefs here, man.
Boo boo, the night is young.
We can find a queef, all right? We're not,
We're in LA.
It is. It is around. It is around the corner. But like your position to be outspoken on issues. Like I remember you had the one video that was antithetical to this idea that shred guitar is self-indulgent, right. and you spoke about that. You gave your opinion in a way that was funny and that was charming. And like, do you feel like you're almost a vlogger, or is like the position of musicians now, or anyone in the public light, that you kind of have to be a jack of all trades? You have to be out there just in general, or is that just your personality?
No, that's an interesting point. I mean, I think that can work for some people. Absolutely. For me, it's easier just to be myself, you know, and just to do whatever the fuck I want. One of the things I'm working on now is, because through music, I feel like, there's definitely a certain amount of responsibility I feel as well. So for instance, like when I do tour, like I'm a huge environmental yuppie, like all about recycling and least consumption as possible. Like I don't care how many bands are on the tour, everyone can use my backline just to save gas and carbon and, all that stuff.
Damn hippies.
I'm a fucking hippie that showers, essentially, But through this amazing platform of being able to like have the reach that I do, I'm able to like bring awareness about all these things. So the one thing I'm working on now is this series called Beyond the Music. So what I'm going to be doing is a
video series?
It's going to be on YouTube. It's still in the works because I'm reaching out to different companies. Like there's this company. So essentially, what the whole thing is like once a month, I'll put up a video promoting different stuff for the environment. So there's some stuff. There's a company called Droomy, and they make portable washing machines. So like if you're on tour, like you pump it with your foot, and it's super easy. You can wash your clothes in it. It's super sustainable. There's another company called Ethical Electric, which I use to they essentially reroute your power grid to support like just using renewable energy. So all the power that powers my studio and my home, It's all done with wind turbines. So like, there's a lot of stuff that people just aren't aware of.
Are you gonna get a solar panel? Do you have solar panels?
No, is that they reroute your power grid. So like my power comes from wind turbines that are in Lancaster.
So you don't
PA.
even need it. You don't even need
them, no. But the thing is, like, no one knows that, you know? And I think that people are really passionate about things. It's just that the internet's an overwhelming place. It's hard to figure out what exactly I can do to help.
Yeah. It's very difficult to divvy between the information and misinformation and disinformation.
Yes, absolutely. And then there was the other thing. We did when the horrible tragedy happened in Orlando. I did a 6-hour stream. It was like the craziest thing, man. But I mean,
so what I remember you did so. What were you doing for 6 hours? Just kind of answering questions, talking to people.
I played guitar for 6 hours.
You just play guitar for 6 hours.
I played through my entire discography. I improvised. I answered questions. You know, and it was just I just wanted to be there as long as I possibly can. You know, just to did some giveaways. So I did a giveaway where it's like, you know, if you have donated to, you know, the GoFundMe that they had going on, you know, submit a proof of your payment and you'll win something. And
so this was to help raise money.
Right. This is to help raise money for all the victims in Orlando.
Your own little mini telethon.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. See, here's the thing. You're better than me.
It's not a matter of that, man.
It's no, seriously, like that's really incredible. And the fact that you're engaged with issues, because I think a lot of the heavy metal community is very cynical, especially a lot of the newer like super heavy bands. It's all like the world sucks, people equal shit, bro.
And conspiracy theories,
even
and
though
how dark the world is.
Even though I like Slipknot, I like that song. That's what I just that was just what came to mind. Don't be mad at me.
Don't judge my boy. Don't judge my boy.
I love you, Slipknot. You my people. But no, I feel like things have become, a lot of younger people have definitely a cynical viewpoint, and I think that in many ways that's easy. Like, it's easy not to give a shit. It's easy to say, oh, well, everyone's fucked. It's like, oh yeah, but you're great, right? It's the world that's fucked up, but you're just fine. And the truth is, when you know, someone like you who takes a more activist position, I just do admire that, because I am not an activist. I say a lot of things. I have a lot of ideas, and I like to think about things and communicate that, but I'm definitely not an on the front lines with a sign kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely something, when I see it and you're genuine and you mean it, it's like super admirable, you know.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Of course. So on another serious note, so on tour, Grindr. Right? So what's going on? What's up with the?
What do you mean, the app?
Yeah. So I've heard. All right. So All right. So listen up, man. Listen up.
Oh, he's gonna blow my spot over here.
Yo. I've heard, not from you, not about you. I've heard dudes in bands who are gay be getting it in on Grindr on tour.
Not me, boo boo.
Not you? Do you have a boyfriend? Are you married? What's going on?
No, I'm very single.
You're single, but you're like a nice guy. You're not like a man whore like I used to be, honestly, before I had a girlfriend.
No, but we'll somehow manage to love you.
That's right. Because I got a big heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Just massive. It actually almost matches other parts of my body. That's how we get along so well.
That's right. Don't dick shame me, bro.
Nah, man. Honestly, you know, I'm not promiscuous because I value my health. You know, I have like anxiety problems, so I don't even think I can get hard if I met someone. I've never had a one-night stand in my life.
That's what I'm saying. You're a genuinely nice person who values themselves. Your brain is not broken. That's what I'm saying. That's why you're an admirable role model for the kids. Okay, don't use Grindr, you dirty.
I mean, no. Here's the thing:
bitches.
is I think like Grindr has its purposes. I mean, I know people who have met like their spouses on
Tinder, Grindr or Tinder,
or Boo Boo is Tinder.
I just wanted to get my rhyme scheme though.
Oh,
you fucking me up, man.
I'm sorry, man. that was a little dry. You make me want to drink some more of that Dasani.
I was on the Tinder.
The Tinder.
I'm old though. I'm like, I'm past my prime. So
Boo Boo, come on. You look great.
Oh, thank you. I'm grizzly. This is grizzly coil right here. I got about a quarter inch of facial hair. I'm shaving this down today.
You mean to tell me that you didn't put work into looking good for me today?
Yo, I put out a video today.
Your house looks wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
This looks wonderful.
I put out a music video today. I've been working since 9 a.m., which is why I had to leave.
Listen, I'm on tour. Do you see this hair?
Yeah, but listen, I've illustrated many times. You're better than me. You're just doing it all. You're my hero.
This guy.
So, all right. So speaking of that, so I went to go see Angel last night on his tour with Gus G. So proud of this guy. He's playing because the thing that's fascinating to me is I think we talk about all these ideas of being legitimized when you're independent.
Yeah.
To me, playing with a Gus G and the way you guys, I loved the marketing you guys did for the tour, all your little things you playing together. I've noticed there's a lot of regionalized marketing on Facebook where so it's, you guys are doing it really smart. You're using the same band. You're all traveling together. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So I love it. It's all like new, it's creative thinking about how to do this thing and not be homeless.
Right.
Do you feel like this tour has kind of legitimized you or taken you to the next level as far as maybe like those other parts of the music industry that aren't paying attention to Angel Vivaldi?
I think it definitely opens me up to different demographics because he has an immense fan base in Europe and overseas.
So is he going to take you to Europe? Is that tell him he better take you to Europe? All right, that's how this works, bro.
That's how this works, boo.
I one for you, one for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, with him and he even said, he's just like, a lot of people back home are like, who the fuck is this Angel guy? And he's like, nope, just wait. Just wait till you see the videos and stuff. Cause we have a lot of stuff that we do together on the tour as well. But I think that, and even this tour, for the most part, I mean, and this is definitely my most amazing touring experience. Just because the camaraderie is like 120 million%. Like,
so is it just these two acts and then you're just playing with locals, or is there an opener?
There's locals. We use locals. Yeah, we were gonna do a third act, but I didn't want, again. So we're traveling together on in the bandwagon and stuff, which is comfortable and is great. But the more important thing is that there's not another vehicle on the road putting more gas emissions and and I don't want that. So I was like, let's just keep it just us two in a bandwagon. We'll share everything. We'll share the crew.
That is the craziest way I've ever heard someone explain we don't want to share our catering budget. Yeah. in our dressing room.
Am I that transparent?
Real slick, brother.
You guys can't see right now, but I'm breaking a sweat.
No, actually, I think the using locals, I think is actually great.
Yeah.
For a couple reasons. One, I think you help develop whatever local scene
absolutely
you're in, and I think having that local talent involved, they're going to directly reach people in that area in a way usually better than the support, unless it's obviously a well support band that's doing well and has a fan base. But some of the best shows God forbid did were us maybe doing an off date or doing little runs that are linking up tours with us, and locals would do better than when we would come through on a headlining tour with a full support package.
Agreed.
So
yeah,
and those bands, they're always so appreciative that they get to play with you and you get to meet them, and there's a lot of enthusiasm, I think, about that, and I think that's a good way to go, even though we still need to take out younger bands and develop talent.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is honestly, I try to get involved in everything I can, even when it comes to choosing locals, because I don't want to, I mean, having people there is great, but I also want people who are like a good tour pack. I don't want to have my audience have to sit through a band. I want them to enjoy it. I want them to enjoy their entire evening. So in these situations, when my agent booked something and I can have that control, if I do know anyone in the area, oh my god, no, you have to get this band. Oh no, you have to get this band. And I think it's important to not feel like you're up here and locals are here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because at the end of the day, you were there. And I think it's important to just have it's a community, man, and just have that brothership, rather that brotherhood, rather.
No, brothership.
That brothership.
New
word.
Yeah, my ancestors came here on some brotherships.
On the brotherships.
It didn't work out that well. God damn it.
Oh no.
All right, so I think that's I'm feeling pretty good about this. Before we go, do you have, like I said, I think you're the independent music. You're one of the guys out there that's really blazing new ground and you're really for someone to look up to. What do you have, any advice you have to give to people, not even, independent instrumental artists or just guitar players, just anyone who's out there trying to do it on their own? Like what kind of advice do you give them?
I mean,
besides, you said write good songs. I remember you said that.
Write good songs, have good hair.
Good hair. Good hair.
No,
you guys
honestly, I think the most important thing, I mean, beyond music, is just make sure you're being a beautiful asset to the world. Honestly, number one. But in particular with music, again, just be true to yourself. Don't follow trends if you want longevity in this industry, and always try to find creative ways to cut corners, but like to save money. But just
be frugal.
Right, but don't do it where it affects the production value or the integrity of your product. Always be very honest with yourself. There's something that you can't do. Learn how to do it. If you don't have it in you to learn how to do it, find someone who could do it for you and learn from them. Right. That's the most important thing.
Right on. And your latest EP, it's called, you correct me if I'm wrong, The Speed of Dark Revisited?
Yeah.
Is that correct? And that's out there. That's on all. What's the best place for people to buy that?
Probably Bandcamp or my web store, districtlines.com/Angel Vivaldi, or you can just Google it.
Google it, and it's on iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff?
It's everywhere. There's more CDs than anyone in the world.
All right. And you can find Angel, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Angel Vivaldi. Just his name. Very simple. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Really
Such
appreciate
a pleasure.
it. Jersey. All right.
Represent.
That was Angel's song Mercurian Summer. As I couldn't say it during the podcast and we talked about it so much, I figured I should play it as in pertaining to Mercury, the planet. I assume it means the planet. It might mean the element, but I'm going to assume that. But yeah, that was the song we were talking about, and it's awesome, obviously. But that's from Angel's 2011 EP, Universal Language. He also has a newer EP out called Speed of Dark Revisited, and you should check all this stuff out. I really want to thank him again for coming on, and you can follow me, guys, on social media, everything at .coyle, DOCCOYLE. Add me, follow me, tell your friends. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Mamba out.